In front door.
Call to order for the Board of Directors Community Forum for October 17th, 2023. Stand with the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, because girls.
Sarah Hunter.
You know, I live.
Nice to meet you all.
Maybe not.
Come
And your records, the bosses,
here.
So this is just an informal get together for, to ask questions or to bring up concerns, or in an informal setting. There's obviously not going to be any decisions made tonight or any action done by the board. It's more just to get together to talk about that. The ideas. So, do we have any questions or concerns?
Well, in the board meeting, they talked a lot about the recycle, and they thought a lot of people would come tonight about recycling, but I think they kind of made a decision at the board meeting that it was gonna be done by, what, November?
November 13th.
Yeah,
And we were gonna get paybacks until December 15th.
right.
So you mean you are still taking, we are selling bags up until the 15th? Yeah, 13th of November. 13th?
I think we decided we good to give people 30 days notice in case they wanted to make a break.
And they could discount that, bring back stuff,
Or they have a punch card.
yeah.
It's done until December
15th.
15th.
What was the feeling in the community on that? From everybody that was here, they understood that it went up, but they were not willing to go to the price that we gave out, because it went from, I think it was $2. Let me go and make sure. Okay, got it.
It's like, up to
So,
yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this or not, but there's quite a bit of concern on how much time they'll have to spend sorting through. Which, that's too bad because it's a good program and a couple people run it for everyone.
because one of the things was our price for bags, and this is from recycling. Our price for bags have increased. The white bags are now $4, and the green bags went to $2, but they also charge a $2 contamination fee if the bags had stuff that was not within the right category in that bag. So with that, it would be like $6 per bag that we end up paying them. So that's why we looked at $7 for the white bags, and then we would go kind of across the board. Because, you know, the way we do it with punching, whether it's a green bag or a white bag, you buy 10 punches for the $70, and then, or it'd be less, it'd be $63 or whatever, because we usually gave an extra bag for every 10 you bought. So, and that would be it. I know Josh, he came in and he said he looked around in recycling in Pueblo, it was like $60 a bag.
A week.
Wow. A week.
Yeah, he
Wow.
said 60 or 65.
Yeah. That was picked up, that was so.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
picking it up. Separate. So, you know, it would still be, and the woman that she says, you know, she does pay for trash service. Her trash service is usually a bag in her.
A small bag,
Yeah.
that she puts in her trash because she recycles so much.
Yeah.
So now everything will go in the trash.
So she does both, and she we'd still have to do both because there's stuff that isn't recyclable that she's throwing out.
Yeah, a lot of the plastics are becoming less and less recyclable. Basically end up in the landfill anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's on the front work,
Yes, the Corridor still runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did that Saturday, it's the second Saturday. I wonder if that's gonna go up. I don't think so, because I think they make, they make money for it. I think the other market makes the money, it's just, volunteers for change, they volunteer their time to gather it and, find it, that's what Harry's job is. And, he tries to be there, but, he was kind of concerned because when he was gone, they said there was a mix up and stuff, so hopefully they can find somebody that could replace Harry too when he's gone.
There is a nice recycling program in Pueblo. It's on Stockyard. And it's free. You can do a variety,
It's free.
I think that's what Greg was talking about.
yeah, they do a variety of recyclable, like glass and cardboard and. Yeah. But they're only doing number 1 and number 2. But that's a great facility.
I think they talked about that, but they talked about the drive back and forth.
Going to Pueblo. Anyway, I just do it when it's at a time when I'm gonna be over there.
So where is that?
It's on Stockyard.
Off of
Stockyard.
4th Street and I-25, and then take a right on Joplin to Stockyard.
They have attendants there and they'll help you tell you if you're recycling wrong and
Is that over kind of by the, American Steel and stuff? Like in between Santa Fe and 4th Street?
is there a wastewater treatment place?
Oh, yeah, so down where, kind of where the highway department used to be, down
Yeah,
south of
I don't know.
Big R,
Huh?
down south of Big R. No. Oh, no, that's Erie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Erie.
Yeah, no, because it smells like that there's a treatment plant.
So it could be down there, kind of east of Running Field and that. Oh, but you could get off on 4th Street, go. And then you go head south off of it.
Yeah, it's
Stockyard.
1595 Stockyard Road,
Okay.
and they're open 4 days a week.
See, in my history, when I was down in Wellsburg, we had, the big totes that they'd come in once a month and pick them up and haul them off, and it was, paper, glass, and plastic. But 90% of the time, people were dumping everything right there with because unless you have somebody watching to see what is being thrown into the bins, and it got to the point where they even said, no, we aren't gonna do this no more.
And this recycling place is attended.
Yeah.
So they make sure that the right stuff is in the right thing.
I think what they're doing with the plastics is what they used for our slurry on Corner Verde. That's what I was talking to one of the engineers for the county. He says they were getting recycled material from Pueblo. I don't know whether it was from there or Woods, but that's what they were using the plastic for as a binder for slurry material.
Yeah, and they grind up the glass and use the glass for something.
So have you heard comments from the community about the recycling program or shutting down? Has it been?
Well, they talked a lot at the board meeting, but I haven't heard anything else, no.
I haven't heard anything, and probably more when the date comes when we lock up the gate and say, no more drop off, we'll probably end up.
Just throw it over the.
We all have that.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You know,
just go to the door, lock the door.
well, they have a metal gate on it, for the lock. The day you do that, Josh will jump up and down with joy.
Well,
He shouldn't have to, he shouldn't have to.
No, sorry. But the thing is too, is, just the last, usually he says it's about a pickup load or a dumpster load of trash that he ends up pulling out of there when they come and pick up. And they end up having, like I said, other bags, they'll use dog food bags and stuff instead of purchasing bags here. So the soapbox issue here is, rather than recycle, we should be reusing anyway.
Any other issues?
I haven't heard anything, no. I've heard that, you're doing a good job. I ran into somebody who ran into you and went away, and you talked to them and they said that they were impressed. So,
So has anybody heard anything about, Dinwiddie or no, have not. We talked about that kind of in the meeting. Somebody asked a question. That ever since after that meeting, he gave me a call and he said, "Oh, we're going to do everything and we're going to get you this water survey and we're going to do this." And he has not returned anything.
Is that for that development
Yes,
by research?
yeah. He hasn't turned anything down. Because I think that's part of it is he's trying to annex the whole 143 acres instead of what he's just showing as the development area of 34 or something acres.
Does he have any, has he had any other jobs like this that have like retail stores and?
He puts back into a lot of this stuff. There's some good and there's some bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I tried to
Or
do an internet.
and real bad, yeah.
Yeah. I tried to do an internet search and that he said that there's like a residential area that he's developed. Yeah, in Pueblo. And, yeah, and I think that's just residential, right?
It was proposed to have commercial.
What?
Aha.
He was supposed to have a condo, and they were supposed to have, it was supposed to be, the first two floors were supposed to be restaurants and shops, residential.
Yeah.
Above, there's no shops or restaurants.
So is it vacant there or
No,
didn't build anything didn't create any commercial building?
I don't know if I should say what I did.
You'll have to look it up yourself.
Say it when we're not in a meeting.
Well, let's say there wasn't Henry, which you didn't have an issue with him. It sounds to me like that's kind of part of the issue with him, his reputation. If it were somebody else,
I don't think right now, while we're trying to resolve our water issues that we currently have, I don't think we need to bring in I don't think we need to propose anything like that until we fix what we have. And what's already, well, I don't think we should. It's one thing to give water to somebody who's in a district, a whole other area, and to give them water from our still. That's what I feel about it, and I feel like there's a lot of people's opinion on it.
especially when we're limited to the number of taps for the water that we do have. My concern is that he annexes that, or he doesn't annex, he gets that 140 acre zone for business. And then he puts in without going through, he's saying he's not going through calls, he doesn't go down there, he puts in his own business. But
Well, if he does, he has to come up with some water.
then we have to drill a well,
Yeah,
We can
and there's a
do
lot
it.
of, there's a lot of things you can't
because
do.
we can turn around and sell them, like, we can't sell them, it's on the lot. Yeah, that's true.
So is there a moratorium on the number of building permit? That we do?
No. We're actually, I believe, about what we estimated. I think we, might be, what is it, we estimated last year 15 taps, and we're probably about 18 to 20. But I'd have to look at it.
I thought we said 20.
Yeah, it's within that amount.
With the cost of building and the interest rates right now, it's not really much of a concern. There's not gonna be a whole lot of building.
Oh, the interest rate. Yeah, but,
They're, I think they're right under 8 or at 8 now. I've heard both,
for the interest rates,
yeah,
it's like 7.79 or something.
yeah, but I heard they had gone closer to 8 even, it might even be not good. Well, not good compared to where we were a few
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah, there's a lot of building.
yeah.
You look in the 80s too.
I know.
The
Well,
80s.
with Jimmy Carter
Yeah, they were at what, 12 maybe?
there, 18.
Yeah, I was saying, more
Yeah,
like
yeah.
18.
Cities were paying 16%. I would say that was before, that was when you were. The price of houses, were $20,000-$30,000 instead of 100 or 500,000.
I was just trying to follow through with that one.
So are you proposing any amendment next year?
A limit of caps, you mean? Well, back to kind of the legal issue there, is that we have to cover it. If we're charging AOS fees, then we have to be able to provide service if somebody wants it. So, to actually, we could probably, we couldn't put a moratorium on. We could probably have a limit, leave them in. Would somebody challenge it? Maybe not.
Did Pueblo West end up getting a moratorium or a limit on them?
They did for a bit, but
And then it went down.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
But-
thought.
they also sold so many, they sold a certain amount of taps before they did it, I don't know, I don't understand how it seemed like it, in the end, it pretty much was a wash, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that helped us is Nancy and everybody on the architectural committee, because they really make sure at least everybody's building to the standards they're supposed to, which does hold some people back from building. Some people can't afford to build a house if they want to. So it's,
Based on the covenant,
yeah,
based on the covenant,
Oh,
so, but, yeah, we have set up, I think, enough information that they understand we have more and more people asking about what the requirements are. What they can do and the process. So some people were like going through planning and zoning with Pueblo first and then through us and so on. They're more aware now,
okay,
so
that's good.
Nancy's keeping everybody in line.
there you go.
And one of the issues that has helped us maintain that too, by the raising of tap fees.
How much is it now?
It's 20,
Oh, good,
which
good.
it's 11 for water and 9 for sewer, which I'd like to propose it back to the board again and say, hey, I think we should raise it another 5 to keep it, just in case you do have a drop in your interest rate and stuff to create that. Which that's what kind of happened at Global West too, is they ended up raising their. They went up more? I believe so.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned good, but we're charging
Or
20,
now.
what would be the right number?
I don't know. I'm not that
I think you
familiar.
talked about it.
I think when I moved here, which wasn't that long ago, it was
Yeah,
like 3 years ago.
well, it was
Oh.
5 and 5. It was
Okay,
$10,000.
okay. But like you said, 2 years ago, the houses
This,
that are way in back of me, that whole street went straight
mhm,
and everywhere else too.
yeah,
Is it, I think Jefferson, right?
mhm.
And there's 3 or 4 new ones on you.
Yeah, now, even now. But I think raising a tax fee is fair. And, oh,
It helps with, capital.
we did that. And there was so much demand before, why not raise? I mean, there's just more money for Metro, right?
Yeah,
It was proposed, every year we're gonna reevaluate what we had said last year.
More money from Metro to, take care of the water and sewer line and all the issues that have developed. And to go forward in maintaining them.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I kind of got some numbers for the gas system to get it in and running and clear up our whole water issue for the pretreatment. Is gonna be probably anywhere from 13 to 14 million dollars. And if we expand the levy to raising it to 10 foot, that's gonna be another $10 million. So that's looking at USDA for about $24 million in grant money, which they're saying that we can get like an 80% loan forgiveness, which you still figure 20% of 24 million is $4 million. So
How much was it for that, to raise the dam?
it's gonna be 10. It was like $10.4 million.
When you're getting grants too, though, they look at if you're charging a reasonable amount of money
Yes,
for your connections and maintenance,
yes.
because they want you to maintain it going forward.
They want that debt ratio to be
Right.
like at 120, isn't it? And for debt ratio. Always the Google thing.
How many total taps do we have now?
We have 11,
Like for this year?
well, no, for total. 1,109
Oh,
Total service,
you need half.
total service tax.
Service tax. I just had it today too. 11:30, I think that's what we have. Counting everything from business to
1197.
1197?
I think we can go up to 16. And that, I gotta look at that.
Even after the damage rate.
So after the dams raised, it would be more. Cause you're adding another 900 acre feet.
So, how many can we go to?
I think 16 more.
Yeah, I think that. Now, is there
And I'm not sure whether that's with all the wells working too.
is there a restriction on that? Is that a fixed restriction or is that suggested?
That's, I believe, suggested at what we have and what we have for, production, having 3 skids and the size of the lake it is now.
A lot of money. So at that point, then, to go above that, then we'd run into storage issues as well.
Yes,
More money.
and that's what I'm saying, and that would also consider probably putting all your wells into service, which that's an extra bill of electricity to pump all that water to. And repairing the dual well and, which with the gas system, that's what we're looking at, and why it's costing so much is we're going with carbon granulated, tag, granulated aggregate, granulated is what it is. Instead of, we were looking at a pack which was, it's like a fine carbon dust to, and what they're saying is with the, if you have radon and stuff that's going through that dust, then it becomes more of an expense to get rid of it, because now it's a hazardous material.
Right.
Whereas with the aggregate, you can heat it up and burn it off, and you don't have to get rid of it. You can reuse it and keep reusing it.
How much does it cost?
It's
That
probably,
kind of. system?
well, I think that's where the extra 3 million came in instead of the 10,
Yeah,
was to go that route. And that's what we're trying to deal with now with the state is we designed it as a pack instead of a keg, and now they're saying, no, you don't need to go to a pack, you need to, and that isn't even part of what we want. We just want the gas system. It's like I've explained to them too, is I know regulations, they always get tighter. I want to build a plant that I don't have to in 5 years turn around and retool it for something else. I want to make sure that we're low enough that regulations will be able to last 10 years in that plant.
would be nice.
Yeah, because this last plant, it's been 15 years, and the regulations have tightened up so much that it isn't doing what we expect it to do.
So that pilot that they had here, that did not have aggregate, that had the carbon?
It didn't have any, it was just checking to take out your minerals and your
That's right.
biologicals.
It didn't have any pre-treatment in there.
No, there was no pre-treatment or after treatment. So, and that's the problem, is you're still gonna have smell and color if you don't have that tag and, or the pack to finish it so that when it hits our filters, it will take the longevity of our filters on our present plant to extend them to like 10 years instead of what they're saying as a 5-year lifetime of them. But right now, it's actually a 2-year life expectancy of our filters, because we're not pulling out all that heavy stuff right away.
That makes
Even,
sense.
even though we're using chlorine dioxide to take out the heavy metals, it's not taking out enough of the organics, which is your algae and seaweed and stuff like that. If you have a pre-strainer that does it, but what's happening too is we're shooting with chlorine dioxide, and by the time it hits strainers, it's breaking our strands apart and clogging the filter, the strainer, and you get in bypass. So there's going to be a lot of what can be fixed in this whole process.
Yeah.
And that's part of it is, people, when we do have our lake turnover and things like that, you do get that musty smell, or you get this burnt seaweed smell, is because we're killing all of that through chlorine and PAC 27, which is peroxide, granulated peroxide, and also citric acid that we're using to clean the filters. And you kind of get that burnt smell is because of the cleaning of the filters. And sooner or later, it's still gonna be that constant residue going through it.
Right.
So we're working on all angles to try and get it done. Like I said, we're trying to find the money. We did have a revolving fund, which is state money, which would hurt us as an enterprise if we get state grant money. And whereas if we get federal funding, it don't hurt us as an enterprise because we're that enterprise. Because then if we lose the enterprise status, there's a whole lot of list of things that need to be done that most likely it's gonna create what Nancy said is, okay, we're gonna have to raise prices on water, we're gonna have to raise prices on everything to meet like PUC. We'd have to have all the regulations as a PUC company.
So prices on water,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to raise anyway, that's gonna, you're bringing it up for discussion,
Yeah,
that for the next,
yeah, we're gonna talk about it as to budget.
So the budget draft includes a $5 base charge for water and a $5 base charge for sewer. Does not include any water increase fees, dollar fees, or, tap fees.
So the tap fees gonna be treated totally separate?
They should be.
And I think we included, how many tap fees?
15.
15, which is more than what we have. So 2022, we had 20 tap fees, but 6 with no sewer. And so far this year, we're at 14.
so when you say you included 15, I mean, you use 15 in the budget?
We projected 15 in the budget.
We did that last year, we only included 9.
No, we have, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 9. We went up.
15 for the 2024.
Yes,
Okay.
Mhm.
and we had 9 last year for the 23.
So totally different subject. About 3 years ago, I think, it was noted in your notes that there was a percentage of water usage that was not
Bill.
billed. Thank you. And you were gonna check into that.
And we have been,
Uh-huh.
Yvonne had found, when she did some auditing through the bills and stuff, that some of our meters, when we're doing meter replacements and stuff, that the old meters were at a certain billing number, like a 6 dial, when they should have been an 8 dial.
Okay.
So there was almost $70,000 there that she had found,
Mhm.
which that was in the instance, we were charging them for 100 gallons when it was actually, they were using 1,000 gallons.
Yeah, it was, wasn't a billing error, it was a bill data issue.
Yeah,
So some of that has been cleared up.
yeah, some of that's been totally cleared up. And then the water loss that we have, we found, some areas that, we're counting that water, but it's being used, say, in our sewer plant that we don't bill them.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Or it's been used in the water plant that we're not billing them for it.
yeah.
There was some on the golf course that runs our sprinkler systems that we weren't billing for. So we're trying to capture what we're producing and what we're billing And then those other things that is like our standpipe out here. We have a total of what's being used out of it, but it wasn't in the numbers as being billing because we were using, that money was going straight into the water fund and not to
Right, that makes sense.
Casell. It's still in Casell into our revenue side of it, but it's not.
It's outside of our building system, so all of that is in a bill, and that's not included in the cell. So, our team identified those three areas weren't being counted in the total police.
Yeah.
We got closer, that's good.
It's getting, we're chipping away at it to try to find it, because, yeah, there is leaks out there. And with the 72 miles or 71 miles of water line that we have out there, we don't know it until it's above ground.
Right.
Then we try and get on it and fix it. You know, within the last month, we've had, I think, 3 of them that have been basically not the main line.
Right.
It's been somebody's service line,
Yeah,
or a service line that went to a air vac, which when we do have air in the line, it follows the air vac and it lets it out so that it don't hit in the line and cause hammer and that kind of stuff.
okay, good job.
And then there's also the other factors of, we do go out and flush hydrants and things that,
Right.
that's water that's, we're not accounting for it.
Right.
And, you could talk to somebody and say, oh, we opened that hydrant for 15 minutes and I only used maybe 10,000 gallons. Well, you got a 2.5 blowing water out of it. That's could be 100,000 gallons unless you have a meter out to decide exactly how much you are draining out of.
Most important is like what you started to say is, you were only recording 100. And when it was really 1,000, I think that's
Yeah,
good to capture that.
and you know what, it's caused some pushback on a few areas, but it's like, we're not back charging you, we're charging you now.
Right,
Well, I'm sorry, but
right,
this is what's happening.
right.
And how many years you got away with this?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So where are you on the water tower? Did you say in the last meeting that because you were gonna redo the inside of the towers?
Yeah, that's part of our grant that we have through ARPA. Right now, I believe Swedish has ordered all the ladders and stuff to put on the outside of the towers. We're looking at starting with tank 2. We did, at this point, we have like 30 feet in tank 3, which we are starting to test. We're test our new line down Cali so we can get water down into South Park and stuff. Because right now, tank 2 basically goes down the hill and across the highway and over and drops into South Park, Colorado, that area, and also it catches some of the Narrows.
So is water used there that isn't billed when you redo the tank?
It probably will be, yeah. Because you'll have, that tank is 250,000 gallons. We'll have to drain it either by nutrition or dump it so that they can start working on it. But they said as for like getting the outside structures up, they can weld on it and stuff while there's water in it.
Okay.
And do that, the outside work as they go. The other issue that we have is tank 1. It's kind of our main water tank that from our water plant, it goes to tank 1, and then it's kind of distributed to tank 4. It helps distribute to tank 2, and then we can distribute from tank 4 up to 3 if we need to. We're looking at how we can continue to have, say, 2 600 or 800 gallon tanks setting up there that from the plant, as long as the plant's producing that 600 gallon tank, as long as we have water in it, we can transfer it to another tank, which will transfer up to the tank 4. And that, with the new line with Red Cloud, we can take anything out of 4 and bring it down to service all of tank 1's service area, which would be like Corona Verde and some of Graneros and all of this area, back with Bee Hill. That's what's happened is when we had that break, when was it, in August, I think it was, we had to shut the main water line going into tank 1 and shut tank 1 down. And we were having people on Graneros that were running out of water when we were doing this. So that's one of the key plays is trying to juggle everything to get it to where everything's covered.
And we don't want Granera to run out of water.
We don't want anybody to run.
Well, I live on Granera. So
Oh, I see.
So, and that was without having tank 3, having Charlie open and bringing water down. Whereas that's gonna help that Granero sand of it too. Because tank 3 is way up there. That's the big tank that sits going between here and that.
Okay.
And it's 3 million gallons.
Okay.
Where our other tanks are anywhere from 225 to 250.
Okay.
Tank 2 is this one that sits here right across from the ball field on the hill.
Okay.
Tank 1 is the one that's off of Red Cloud up there. That you, as you go up, what is it, the white tail, and where we put in all the new line, there's that big tank there, that's one. And then if you go up Waco Mesh and around, you'll see tank 4 up coming in the trees there.
Okay.
That kind of gives you a layout of our tank size.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our water restrictions will continue until.
Yeah, until we can get
Right
this,
into that.
yeah.
But they won't be done before winter, will they?
No, they won't be done this one, but thing is what normally is wintertime, we usually produce anywhere from 3 to 500,000 gallons a day, where in the summertime, we'll end up producing anywhere from 6 to 900 gallons a day. 1,000 gallons, 900,000, yeah, so
Because everybody's watering.
watering outside, gardens, and that's why we, in the winter, in the summertime, wanted to have, okay, you can water, but it's hand water,
Right.
water during these times. So that it gives our plant time enough to recover either during the middle of the night or during the middle of the day to fill them tanks back up. We have all that to,
You mentioned Swedish has ordered the ladders.
yes.
Those tanks have all been done.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for a diver to get up on top of the tank, it has to ladder.
Yeah, but those ladders were put in,
So they have to replace it.
yes, they need to have, fall protection, they've gotta have a cage, we've gotta have railing up on the top where that, when you come off of the ladder, all of that. The other thing too is all those domes where you have your vents, they will have to be replaced because they're old and we've done modifications, so that birds can't fly the screens and stuff, but they're still worried about dust getting into the tank, which it's gonna happen.
It's all part of the upgrade.
Yeah. We're looking at epoxy so that way it will last another 20 to 30 years, whereas if you just paint them, one of the big concerns is there might be lead primer when they go sandblast them, they'll have to take extra killing caution and respirators and things like that too.
Mm.
Well,
That's a for sure that there's lead paint there or
it isn't for sure they have
Right.
to scratch and.
don't test it
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Tank 3 will probably have the most repair to it. Because I believe it's the oldest tank. I think it was put in back in the early 1960s. And there is some rusting of supports and stuff, so you're gonna probably end up having to cut out a section of the tank to get down lifts in and everything else. But these other tanks, they'll be able to go through the port on the side and draw it up. If they need a weld or use, because that's most of these two tanks, the small tanks, there's just some pitting on the floor and stuff that's where they're saying that we need to have it redone because of the pitting and it's starting to flip.
Right.
Because every 4 years we they dive them, and they send us a video of the dive where they go and vacuum all the bottom out on it,
Interesting.
and then turn around and shoot everything as to this is what the walls look like, this is where the inlet is, and where the out. And that's the biggest problem with our tanks is it's a common inlet outlet. So you're letting water in and you're releasing water through that same area, so it's tough to just shut it off and say, okay, now we're,
All right.
And it's not cheaper to buy a whole new tank and get rid of the old one.
well, last time I looked at it, it was like $1,000 a gallon
For a new tank.
for a new tank. So if you're looking at a 250,000 gallon tank, almost 22 million.
And how much does it cost us to repair one?
To repair, the smaller tanks, I think we were looking at, they were going to be in a ballpark of like 60,000.
Oh,
And the big tank was going to be the biggest part of it, was, I take that back. It was like 100 or 1.1 million for the 3 million tank. And then the other two were in the ballpark of 40.
so there's some of the grants
That's,
over there?
that's what the
Okay,
ARPA grant is for.
okay.
A lot of process in that water system. It'd be better if we just all had a well.
Or not.
I-
Well,
Yeah.
My whole.
Well, wells are in dry.
And that's the biggest thing is, people that have bought property and they don't have, service lines close to their property. Well, we can drill a well. No, you can't, not in Colorado City. Because if you drill a well, you're hitting one of our aquifers,
Right.
which we don't know whether you're gonna have backflow prevention and all of that, which would contaminate that well. And then it ruins it for everything.
Right.
Which we got our cemetery survey back and there's three things that they wanted was our backflow prevention, which is basically our businesses in town and stuff. And we're going through and having them all check and the businesses are having paper. We have a guy that comes in and does it, or either they can hire somebody out to come and do it for them. And that's where we're at is we're getting that because we have to have 90% compliance on it. That 90% of our businesses have went through backflow prevention tests. One of the other things was um, there's two areas that they brought up that were really important. One of them was data, but we're working on that with going through this new IT company that'll be able to help us pull back all of our data from way back in our SCADA system. Because our server for our SCADA was full, and we'd start eliminating that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so now we have to go back and pull all of that elimination to, and get it back into our system. Homepage, website, we're having a meeting tomorrow with Streamline, to be ADA compliant and move forward with, updating the, website and, making it easier for us to add and take stuff off out of it. Right now, it's very complicated. I'm not a techie person, but I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
No.
Well, I guess we can adjourn the meeting.
Fine.
Thank you guys for your.
Thanks for being here.